If you have watched any of our other videos at Tired But Happy Travel, you might be aware that we specialize in producing detailed, practical travel itineraries to help families traveling with kids to see the best sites in various global destinations in the most efficient way. This video is different. In this video we are outlining a rushed, slightly chaotic itinerary where you spend most of the day on a train and barely see any of the destinations you visit. For 95% of families, this is a terrible itinerary and a waste of a day. However, we loved it. If you enjoy train travel, seeing unspectacular places off the beaten track, and most of all, completing slightly meaningless challenges, then you might enjoy it too. The concept is simple. Visit 5 bars in 5 different countries in one day. If you're thinking that taking your children on a bar crawl is wildly irresponsible, then 2 key points. Firstly, alcoholic drinks and even visiting bars is entirely optional. You can just make the day about visiting 5 countries in one day. Secondly, if you do decide to have a drink in each country, you will be having a total of 5 drinks across a period of about 12 hours. The chances of waking up the next morning to find a tiger in your bathroom are very slim. We completed this day as part of a wider week-long interrailing trip in Europe. There are a few ways you can manage this challenge, but we started by staying the night before in Thionville, which is a small city in France, near the border with both Germany and Luxembourg. We stayed in the B&B Hotel Thionville Centre Gare, which is a basic but very nice hotel, located directly opposite Thionville train station, which made the start to the country crawl the next day about as convenient as it could be. We didn't have time to explore Thionville itself, but it looked like a lovely city, and would be well worth spending a day there before the country crawl, if you have the time. So, on to the crawl itself. The first order of business is breakfast, and conveniently, the first bar of the day is also in Thionville station itself. Gare Café Point Chaud is a small cafe right inside the station, which made the logistics wonderfully straightforward. We had breakfast there, and ticked France off the list before we had even got on a train. If the cafe is not open when you arrive, Le Beffroi is a short walk away and serves as a perfectly reasonable alternative. Either way, have something to eat here. It is going to be a long day, and the next opportunity for a proper sit-down meal is several countries away. At 9:13 we caught the train towards Trier and got off at Apach Moselle. If you worry that you might be getting off at the wrong stop, then you're probably in the right place. It really does feel like the middle of nowhere. From the station, we walked to Rue Nationale and headed north. The walk is straightforward and takes you through a quiet residential area that gradually becomes less French, and honestly, a little mundane. Along the way, you pass 2 things worth stopping for. The first is a very small replica of the Eiffel Tower, which is exactly as unassuming as it sounds, but makes for a good photo. The second is a plaque marking the meeting point of the 3 borders of France, Germany, and Luxembourg. The actual meeting point is technically in the middle of the Moselle River, which is slightly anticlimactic, but the plaque gives you something concrete to photograph if you manage to find it without walking straight past it. It is on the grass near the replica Eiffel Tower. Just over the border into Germany is Grill Dreilendereck, which is our second bar in our second country. We want to be honest with you here. It is a barbecue grill. It is not glamorous. The decor is not going to appear in any travel magazine, but it was on our route and open at that hour of the morning, which is really all we needed from it. It had a bit of a truck stop vibe about it, but the staff were friendly and the beer was cold. If your expectations are managed correctly, it is a perfectly enjoyable stop. There is a hotel called Hotel Maimoule, which might be worth investigating as an alternative, but we were short of time and quite happy with Grill Dreilendereck. From Germany, we crossed the Alte Moselbrucke, which is an old bridge over the Moselle, and in crossing it we also crossed into Luxembourg and arrived in Schengen. If that name sounds familiar, it is because this is the town that gave its name to the Schengen Agreement, signed here in 1985, which is why you can now walk between France, Germany, and Luxembourg without anyone asking to see your passport. This stretch of the trip was genuinely one of the highlights of the day, and one that the kids particularly enjoyed. At one point on the bridge, you can be standing in one country while talking to someone standing in another, which is trivial, but the kids found it hilarious. Our children were also delighted by the idea of walking between 3 different countries in the space of about 10 minutes. It costs nothing, requires no planning, and is the kind of thing that sticks in the memory in a way that a conventional tourist attraction often does not. At 11:19, we caught the 4:02 bus from Schengen towards Luxembourg Gare Centrale. The bus is free, as is almost all public transport within Luxembourg. The journey takes around 50 minutes. This isn't the Alps, but the scenery is interesting, and it is a useful opportunity to sit down, regroup, and have a snack if you brought one from the morning. Bar 3 in Country 3 was Crossfire, the Nordic bar, which is about a 10-minute walk from Luxembourg Gare Centrale. We had lunch here. After a morning of barbecue grills and bridges and border plaques, a proper sit-down lunch felt like a significant upgrade. The food was good, the staff were lovely, and we had the place almost to ourselves. Luxembourg City itself is worth more time than we gave it, and if you ever have the opportunity to spend a full day there, we would recommend it. At 1:47 p.m, we got the train from Luxembourg towards Brussels. And when we did this trip, we ended up on a replacement bus to Arlon in Belgium, where we changed onto the train to Brussels. This is the kind of thing that interrailing throws at you occasionally, and it is worth knowing that it can happen. We arrived in Brussels around 5:30 p.m, which was close enough to the original plan. Brussels Midi station is basically a standard large train station. Our advice is to walk directly outside the station, where there are a row of bars and restaurants. For us, Bar 4 in Country 4 was Brasserie Belge, which is right outside the station, and this was where we had dinner. After a day of almost perpetual motion, sitting down to a proper Belgian meal felt like a well-earned reward. Belgian food is genuinely excellent, and if there is one country on this itinerary where the food stop justifies the visit, it is this one. At 6:57 p.m, we boarded the final train of the day from Brussels Midi to Amsterdam Zuid. By this point in the day, there is a temptation to feel like the hard work is done. It is not quite. There is still a couple of hours on the train, and one more country to tick off. We arrived in Amsterdam around 9 p.m. Our hotel was the Olympic Hotel, which is about a 10-minute Uber from Amsterdam Zuid, and our 5th and final bar of the country crawl was the hotel bar. After a day that had started in a French train station cafe at breakfast time and taken us through Germany, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands, this felt like a nice way to end the day. There is something satisfying about ending a slightly ridiculous challenge in a comfortable chair with a drink, knowing you are in the same building as your bed for the night. We even took a bonus drink back to our room for a final nightcap while the kids were able to get some sleep. If your hotel does not have a bar, the area around Amsterdam Zuid has cafes and restaurants, or you can find somewhere near your hotel. We would recommend steering clear of proper bars for this last stop, since it will be after 9 in the evening, and most bars will not be suitable for kids. Another reason why the hotel bar is a great option if you have one, and that is the country crawl. 5 bars, 5 countries, 1 day. France at breakfast, Germany mid-morning, Luxembourg for lunch, Belgium for dinner, and the Netherlands to finish. Approximately 700 kilometers covered by train, bus, and foot. Not a single tourist attraction visited in any of the conventional ways, yet one of the best days of our trip. We are aware this is not for everyone. If you watched this and thought it sounded like a chaotic and mildly exhausting way to spend a day with children, you're probably right. But if you watched it and thought it sounded like exactly the kind of thing you would enjoy, then we hope this gives you everything you need to give it a go. If you have done something similar, or if you have a variation on this route that you think works better, let us know in the comments below. We read all of them, and if you have a destination or itinerary you would like us to cover in a future video, leave that in the comments too. And if you found this useful, please subscribe. New videos go up regularly, and everything is also available at tiredbuthappytravel.com, where you will find written guides alongside the videos. See you in the next one.